Hi, welcome to a new video dedicated to a new 5-inch FPV eraser. This is a LisamRC LS-X220. So, it's a 6S compatible FPV eraser. 5-inch for both the frame and the prop side. What we have a very strong 4-in-1 ESC board where each ESC supports up to 35 amperes, so no problem to handle 6S capacity. What we have also a F4 board, okay, with a built-in Betaflight OSD, of course, and this board is also integrating a built-in video transmitter, 48 channel, up to 600 milliwatts. So we will see if it's a good design or not to merge these two important components. If one is dead, you will have to replace both. In the other hand, what we have also, we have a very good CCD camera, Super Hat 2 sensor based, Sony based, 113 sensor size and a 600 TVL. There is a built-in USB controllable thanks to a very small joystick located rear at the FPV camera. What we have also, the frame is super strong, up to 5 millimeters of Cygnus 3-key carbon base, so should be really good to handle most type of crashes. Let's open and discover this BNF version. I received the Fear Sky version with a D16 with the Fear Sky XM Plus edition. Here is all the content in the box. First thing, no instruction at all, instruction manual, so we'll have to guess, for example, how the video transmitter control hard, but it's not very difficult in other hand. So let's discover the accessories. Some stickers, Banggood antenna. It's a right circular polarization with some ACMA connector, two set of 5-inch props, clear editions. Okay, they are exactly from 50, if I can read well, okay, 50, not the pitch is not very strong, 20 something. Okay, so a 5-inch model, and we have a second spare bags. And what also we have also a spare battery strap already pre-installed, one into the machine. That's all. Okay, that's enough. So let's discover a little bit the machine right now. Wow, it sounds super solid. And look, one of the originality of the frame design is the carbon elements are not horizontal like usual, but more vertical. So it means that for I'm not sure that, for example, in case of a lateral crash, this is a good solution, but I guess for most top button crash it will help a lot. So it depends what is the your main statistically type of accident, but in case of frontal, I'm not sure this is the right design, because the stress will be only down on this dimension, which is already not bad, 5 millimeters, so pretty not bad. But it would have been better if the frame was more in the other side, and we had something about 10 millimeters for the frontal crash, would have been maybe a better option in this case. But no free lunch, we have to choose what direction we want to reinforce. Okay, so what we can continue. Each arm are independent and installed in this double layers of frame structure. So we have a second upper structure here. Okay, so have a look here. So the bottom, okay, is about 2 millimeters, as well the more middle one. So, and all these two carbon frame are taken into sandwich this 5 millimeter arm. That's pretty good. And each motors, which are branded by LisamRC, are some 2306 spinning at 2600 kV, so with a very low profile. They should scream like crazy. Maybe not the strongest motor you can find now, maybe some 2207 or maybe some 2307 or 8 will give more power, but it's already not bad. 5 millimeters shaft section, so no problem, classic. And we have some of the black nuts are counterclockwise, while the silver one are clockwise nuts. So let's continue to discover the structure. We have here two vertical aluminum frame which sound pretty solid, and as you can see, they are reinforced by some lateral standoff. They are also metal based, and this general frame sounds super solid and attached bottom here with some very strong metallic standoff, very short, so the durability of this one should be pretty good. The upper structure sounds pretty nice, and here we can discover in front the FPV camera, CCD sensors, as I said, and good news here on the rear side we can guess this small joystick here, where we can, if we press validate an option or move up, down, left and right to navigate into the OSD submenu. No possibility, for example, to control this one via your video transmitter or OSD in beta flight. Okay, but at least we have some direct control, no need of an extra cable, so that's good. And this one offers, this camera offers some super wide dynamic range reduction, so sounds pretty good for very important light transition scenes. Let's continue. We have here the ACMA connector. Be aware the nuts here are present most often some little loose, so when you will attach the antenna, be sure that it's not turning by itself on the rear side, so you will have probably to more tight this section before to install your Banggood antenna. We have here 4 lights and a central buzzer. That's great, attached with some zip ties. Okay, but it's okay, 4 lights at least. What we have, let's discover a little bit the right side. We have the strong XT60 lead power, so the gauge of the wires are very strong. No built-in caps, okay, to filter out any potential presence of noise, and we will see if this 35 ampere ESC board is noisy or not. So it would have been great if some extra caps here in order to reduce some potential video noise, okay, due to this motors and the ESC. So the most bottom layer is the ESC board. We have some to be more complete, we have some, sounds to be 2 millimeters, okay, yes, we have some 28 square system, okay, to attach the each board, okay, and sounds pretty clean. We have a connector to connect the ESC to the flight controller board, and as I said previously, we have a 2-in-1 F4 board plus on the top you can see here with the metallic cover the video transmitter. So on the right side we have a boot button in order to flash eventually from scratch a new Betafly version, so you have to press this button. We have a button dedicated only to select the output power from 20, there is a pit stop, so to close to 0 milliwatts up to 600 milliwatts, and here we have the video transmitter channel and band selection. Okay, so just short press to cycle within the 8 frequency inside the current selected band, or long press to change between for different band. 48 channel in total. It's well exposed to the airflow, so it should be not warm too much. And look, on the other side we have the ear installed for the BNF version, the FieldSky XM Plus here, where the bind button is located here close to the 2 antennas. This FieldSky XM Plus is attached to the flight controller thanks to a 3-position 1mm micro GST connector. Bad news, this FieldSky XM Plus is not flashed with the RSSI compatible firmware, so if you want to export the RSSI to your OSD, we need to flash, but since there is a small connector here, the flashing procedure will be a little bit more easy if you already pre-build your cable to connect to your Taranis or any OpenTX compatible radio. Okay, so it's the first guy receiver is installed on a piece of foam probably to not suffer from the heat transmitted by the video transmitter and so on, and to remove from potential vibration. The main second board is the R4. We have the micro USB to plug. It's flash with Betaflight 3.2, not really more than one. So it means that if this video transmitter supports for example, smart audio or ERC tramp, with this Betaflight version, unfortunately, we won't be able to enjoy from this feature. So if potentially this flight controller plus VTX board is supporting such kind of video transmitter control via OSD, you will need to flash a more recent Betaflight OS inside. So what probably I will do. The second drawback is not flash with a really modern Betaflight version. So really what I like is the frame. Sounds pretty solid for a Chinese one. Okay, sounds really pretty cool. The maximum tilt angle, look that it's up to more than 50%, and the camera is pretty well protected. The field of view is about 150 degrees, so very large enough for enjoy FPV. Okay, so my main three concerns are about the non-presence of any filters or caps to eventually reduce the potential amount of noise introduced by the AC and motors, the non-presence of the RSSI firmware compatible for the Fierce BNF version, some potential loss of the antennas, and also what I regret also is flash with a non-modern Betaflight version. Another point, if you want to install, for example, an HD camera, a Runcam stuff, or a GoPro, it won't be super easy with such kind of frame. But the good news, you can probably remove the current FPV camera and install without any problem a Runcam Split Mini 2 or a Cadex Turtle 2 if you want. On this we have enough room to install this one unique layers HD FPV camera solution. So now it's time to check a little bit the default Betaflight configuration. I will probably install also more than one, and to check if smart audio or ERC tramp support is here. So let's discover the default Betaflight version. We connect to the machine and check immediately the current version installed. So as F4 board plus with a built-in OSD, flash with a 3.2 Betaflight, quite whole. Last year's version, so for sure we need to upgrade to enjoy, for example, more better stabilization, filters, algorithm, and so on, new features such as ERC smart audio control. Okay, let's have a tour. Let's connect one more time and check the different port active. So we have the serial port on for the UART1 for the FSK XM Plus built-in receiver, and probably for the video transmitter control we will need to activate either the UART3 or ER6 if this one can be controlled thanks to ERC tramp or smart audio protocols. Let's check now the configuration. We have G-Shock 600 turned on by default. Okay, great. No specific board alignment. Quad X rotation is normal. We have 8 kilos for gyros frequency, 2 kilos for the main PID loops. Barometer is turned on. We can disable it because we don't need, and there is not. No specific name for the OSD. Okay, and we have effectively the serial based receiver protocol mode turned on, and more particularly with S-Bus connection. Let's three features and OSD are turned on. Dynamic filter is not. Okay, and voila, so we will save and reboot. Okay, reconnect one more time. The CPU usage actually is only 4%, so the F4 board is very strong. Let's continue in terms of power and battery saving. We have the default minimum and warning cells voltage. Continue with the main PIDs. I see exactly the default Betaflight version, so no specific, and if you want you can apply a little bit more your favorite rates and super rate. Okay, so since I will probably flash Betaflight, a new Betaflight version, I won't touch them. In terms of receiver, I will turn on the radio, and as you can see, you don't see any aux activities on either on aux12 or aux5, so it's confirmed that it's not flashed with the last firmware compatible with the RSSI exportation to the aux channels. Be sure to center all your 4 channels to the 1500 values and be below 1000, okay, and 2000, between 1000 and 2000, to be sure to harm correctly and so on. In terms of mode, what we have the default aux1 to harm angle. I would say the most flight selection is done on aux2, where we have angle in upper position, horizon in middle, and what we have acro when is on down position. As you can see, no specific other features turn on, such air mode and so on, or anti-gravity mode, so it will be good probably to add them if you like this mode. Let's continue with the OSD. We have a basic one where most information are located on the top, where we have the timer. Okay, here's 2 timers, the battery voltage, the horizon bar, etc., and the stabilization, the flight mode here, and voila. And we don't see the RSSI, of course, because this one is not exported, unfortunately. So some works have to be done also for the OSD. And let's check now the strap. Okay, we have something done where it's configured for 8 lights, and since we have only 4 available, I don't know what is used for, but there seems to be just located here without any specific role. So also the LED strip control must to be optimized also. So in terms of Betaflight, it's clear that it is not fully optimized. Okay, and this is why probably also the didn't spend time also to not flash the firmware to the FSK receiver. Let's now try to flash a new Betaflight version. So let's attempt to flash. You have to press the boot button while plugging the USB to your PC or Macintosh in order to enter into the DFU mode. So I will now flash the firmware. Of course, I selected the last available Omnibus 4 OSD port with the version 3.5.3, and currently is flashing. Okay, arising, and now flashing the new firmware. Okay, here we go with the last Betaflight 3.5.3, and let's start to check a little bit the port. So we have to turn on the UART1 for the PSK serial based receiver, and I already did some tests, and unfortunately either neither on UART3 or 6, whatever I selected the smart audio or ERC tram protocols, none of these 4 combinations worked. It means that there is no possibility to control the video transmitter settings via your OSD. It's what's a pity. Okay, so only via the external button. So let's continue in terms of configuration. I will select of course the D-Shock 600. Okay, keep the default motor throttle value. disable the barometers, the manometers. Okay, and we can push, actually we have something about 6%, but we can probably push up to 8 kilos for both loops without any problem. Be sure to select the CL bus receiver, and more particularly the S bus for the FlySky, or an I bus if you have the FlySky edition. So I will disable the default anti-gravity, okay, and kept the dynamic filter option. Voila, so don't forget to press save and reboot. Okay, let's reconnect and let's continue. In terms of failsafe, I won't touch anything. In terms of PIDs, I will keep the default Betaflight version, but I will of course increase a little bit the default rates for increase the maximum speed, something about 850, for example, degrees per second would be not bad. And for the yeah command, I prefer more linear answers, so something about 33 to have something more linear here. I will keep all other default settings. Okay, I will save that. And in terms of filters, I will keep the default one, 2 zeros low pass, and dependent one with this default frequency cutoff 100 and 300 Hertz as default. Okay, so I will turn on the receiver here. Okay, checked and center most of my channel around 1500, and of course I've got something about 1000 and 2000 for the range of my control. I've got some one three-way here, works one, another aux 2 is three-way, the aux 3 is two-way, and for me the aux 4 will be to select the dual rate mode. So let's now do the settings. So I will arm with the auxiliary one here, but more when it's an upper position. Okay, I will add immediately the beeper for aux 1 when it's in the middle position. Okay, I will save that. And now I will add more the angle mode for aux 2. Okay, and something more horizon in aux 2, and acro plus anti-gravity on aux 2, and I will add also the air mode as well. So here for the last position of my flight mode, three-way switch here, I will save that. Okay, so I've got the air mode here on the last settings, plus anti-gravity, horizon, angle, everything is done. Okay, so unfortunately no possibility to control the video transmitter via the OSD. Let's check a little bit more the OSD. And everything is turned on by default, so I will disable the warning here. Okay, and I will add the main battery voltage. So for information, by default the camera is turned on pale, and the wide dynamic range YDR is turned off by default. So I change to NTSC and turn on the YDR mode. So you have to enter into the OSD, built-in OSD of your camera thanks to the micro joystick button. I will continue display the crosshair, the timer too. Okay, the fly mode as well. So stability, something here. I like to have the throttle position. Okay, and what I can also add is well, I will display more bottom line. Okay, so everything sounds to be good. Unfortunately we don't have the RSSI. By default, you will need to flash the firmware with, and we are done. So don't forget to press save. I will change whatever the font, okay, to a larger one. So I will select more the clarity one. I really like this one, and I will upload the font. It will make the writing more larger and bigger. Okay, and the last one is about I forgot to turn on the LED strip, so features, so be sure to turn on this one. Okay, and save and reconnect. Okay, and now we can configure the LED strip. So we make wiring. As far as I understood, we have to select something like this: 0, something here, then 2, 3. Okay, finish the wiring. Click here. We will select color, and we will apply throttle, Larsen effect, and indicator. The same for all the 3 other. And we are almost done. Okay, we can press save. Okay, so the display is more classic. In fact, you will have to select more, something like 0, 1, 2, and 3, and you are done. Okay, so be aware of the wiring is more 0, 1, 2, 3, and it's okay. So I will change that, and now it's time to go in the field. Welcome to the demo flight of this LisamRC LS-X220. I will start to fly with a big 4S battery, 2200 milliamps more than, so pretty large, and I think it's too heavy for such kind of quadcopter, so I won't probably enjoy super acro and punchy style, but at least I should have some long flight duration. I think the best battery capacity is about 1300-1500 milliamps hours, and it should reach about 3-4 minutes of pure acro fly in this case. Okay, so I tuned the camera into NTSC and activated the wide dynamic range. Today, wow, it's summer winter time here, and the sun is super low in the horizon line, so the light sensitivity will be a major problem. We'll see how it is good or not, this CCD camera. So I will fly first in small loss conditions and continue in FPV. Let's go. Okay, so I will plug the battery. Okay, and I configure the light to have a kind of Larsen effect. Okay, actually I got more a solid one, and then I would turn on the DVR recording. Okay, recording, and let's engage the flight. Okay, let's go. I'm in 6/6 stabilized mode. Wow, today is extremely windy, and as you can guess in the footage, it rained a lot here, almost like in England. Okay, let's see how punchy with this 4S. Let's go. Wow, not so bad, huh? Already pretty good in 4S. I can't wait to test this monster in 6S. Okay, wow, fly beautifully with the default setting. It's more. Okay, let's continue now in FPV, but start to be good. let's conclude about this LisamRC X220. Wow, first thing, wow, it's a monster of powers in 6S. It's incredible, and just after the flight, the motors are even not warm. So it's great news. It's really a powerful machine. Really, I'm impressed. It's super agile, nimble, super stable, flying on the rail without any problem. Today was extremely windy, as you can hear, with the wind gusts in the speaker, but it fly like the wind was absent. So great news in terms of stability, at least with the default Betafly settings. It's close to be 515 gram in 6S with a battery. It's 1300 milliamps hours, so really start to be pretty heavy. And I should decrease a little bit the rates because it was a little bit too high in my opinion, but really I like this machine. Just I deeply regret the absence of any smart audio or ERC trim video transmitter controls. That's a drawback. That the PSky XM Plus is not flash with RSSI compatible firmware. That the Betafly pre-install is quite old, so can enjoy even more better stabilities and features thanks to a more recent one. Okay, and except that, the camera by default settings is not bad, but you have to turn on the wide dynamic range rendering, at least, especially today when you saw that when the sun is pretty low in the horizon. This camera with these settings handled pretty well, so I'm satisfied. I didn't observe too much noise in the video transmission. Just one remark: by default the video transmitter is set to 25 milliwatts, so at least press 1 to enjoy at least 100 milliwatts in your output power. Well, the signal is clean even with high throttle inputs. That's great. So definitively, if this machine can come with this small default and maybe with Runcam Split Mini 2 pre-install or Cadex Turtle 2, it will be a great 5-inch FPV flyer. So in terms of durability, I can recommend it because it sounds super solid. Just another minor details: the props unfortunately enter into the field of view of the FPV camera, so you will see some partial occlusions. Okay, so maybe the X structure is a little bit too elongated, so maybe that's the reason why we have some props intrusion into the field of view. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this new video. Okay, it's a good FPV model, very powerful, reserved for very good pilot, of course, and I can recommend it. No real bad points, okay, but there are a lot of room of improvement and some work out of the box. Okay, I hope you enjoy this new one. If you like it, please submit, and see you next time. Bye bye.